Universal Audio are certainly no strangers to contributing to some of the greatest recordings in music history, especially considering just how critically acclaimed, prolific and faithful they have been within the analogue broadcasting and recording field for over 60 years. Now, after successfully bundling their legendary sound and expectations of their consoles into new portable audio interfaces, Universal Audio are now eyeing up their next accolade by unleashing an onslaught of brand new professional-grade studio microphones with a vision of world, or rather studio, domination. Now, the first of these is the simply titled and designed Universal Audio SD-1, or Standard Dynamic Microphone Model 1, which is available now and retailing at around £250 to $300. I mean, sure, there are a lot of tried and trusted microphones around already, popular choices on either side of the price tag, but surely the status of the Universal Audio brand makes them worth checking out, right? Well, let's do just that. Okay, so let's take a look. So, here we go, nice simple branding, black and gold, similar to something else maybe.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let's have a look at what we've got inside of here. Nice little microphone briefcase, always wanted one of those. And here it is. The Universal Audio SD-1. Looks a little familiar, right, doesn't it?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Don't want to name names, but there we go. Pretty similar, just in white, of course, to differentiate it from the popular Shure SM7B that I'm using here. I mean, I guess this particular microphone does have a lot of inspiration. It is considered the industry standard in a lot of studios all around the world. So I guess, you can't fault them for designing something which clearly seems to work. But, I mean, we'll be testing it very shortly to see how it sounds in comparison. But for the time being, it's a gorgeous, just really nice, elegant white, which I do very much like. Obviously got the Universal Audio emblem there, SD-1. Same sort of bracket found in here, the Shure SM7B. Same sort of design, same sort of foam cup here as well. Already installed, of course. And then towards the back here, we've got the connection for the XLR connection, of course, but also we have the switches here. This is a high pass filter, and we've also got an articulation boost or presence boost to kind of change the way your voice sounds. Very, very similar to Shure SM7B here. It's just a bit more fiddly. This is just a simple switch to go up and down. I think I had to get a pencil or a knife to kind of change the ones on mine. I'll be testing this out in neutral, default, if you will. But no, it's looking very, very nice. And I must say, I do like the XLR connection being at the back, opposed to here it's being at the top. As I found in the past, it's been quite difficult to actually conveniently plug an XLR cable into it. Especially seeing I can't necessarily turn this round exactly where I want it to go because this fella is in the way. So having this right at the back, I think, will make it a lot more versatile and compatible with a lot of different stands and boom arms like this one. But no, I'm excited for giving it a go, seeing how it sounds. Again, it looks incredibly similar to what I'm using now, but how does it compare in the sound? Let's check it out. Well, here we go. The Universal Audio SD-1 hooked up and currently capturing my vocals here. So, as you'd expect with any sort of, professional grade dynamic microphone, it has been created with close-up vocals and speech in mind. So even when I feel, like I'm getting up really close, it kind of sounds like it perfectly complements and smooths out my voice without distorting it or terrifying my listeners every time they hear me speak. I feel like it generally carries low-end vocals quite well, but it doesn't make it too dark, which is a lot more noticeable comparing this between the Shure SM7B. I personally much prefer the SM7B, the lower sort of dark range of it. I feel it complements my particular voice, but seeing that it carries low, mid and high end range sort of quite well, it kind of makes it a pretty versatile microphone across all the speech spectrum. So no matter how you feel you talk or present to your listeners, your musicians and whatnot, I feel like regardless of how you sound, you're going to sound great on this particular microphone. So I've decided to to move to our recording booth here, just so you can get an idea on how my voice sounds in a location that is incredibly quiet, because we were recording there in a shared office space. We had traffic outside, a bit of noise in the office, but this should give you a really good idea on how my voice sounds within the Universal Audio SD-1. As I said, I think it really complements my voice very, very well. It's not as deep and dark as the Shure SM7B. I do like the particular change in sound that I have with this compared to the SD-1. I think it's very, very, very similar. So that's why I think if you do go for the SD-1, you're more or less getting this, but it just has a different way of, I guess, appreciating the voice. You know, you can change the levels to make it a bit complement your mids and your highs a little bit better. But I think for me, I think the default setting of the Shure SM7B works best for me. And I guess the reason why I am comparing it to that microphone is because it's very clear through the look of it, it's inspired by the Shure SM7B. And, you know, that microphone is considered the industry standard, that the really sort of I guess the common friend, the reliable ally in the studio space. I also found as well that it's managed to almost close off a lot of background noise, even in a single glazing city centre office like this. There's actually, believe it or not, an impressive amount of background noise reduction, which I hope is reflected in this recording, but it definitely is through my ears at least. So that's really great. Again, I always advise people when they're launching a radio station, podcast, and they're thinking about microphones, kind of spend more on a microphone, because you don't necessarily need to treat your room, your space, your studio. If you've got a very good quality microphone, that can mask a lot of that background noise just purely because it's concentrating on your voice. Because of course this is a cardioid microphone, so it's ignoring a lot of the sides and the back sounds, and it's concentrating purely on my voice here. Now, unlike the Shure SM7B, the SD-1 has been created with more than simply recording speech in mind, kind of with an aim to make it more versatile, or at least versatile enough to handle professional grade broadcasting, spoken word, vocals, and a multitude of instrumental recordings. This is made even more possible with the inclusion of a variety of different presets and plugins to suit all projects. So, you know, again, regardless of what it is you're hoping to record, there are a lot of things included with this microphone that can complement every scenario you may find yourself in. There are presets available for recording, you know, bass guitar, piano, live vocals with pre-added reverb, but the ones you'd, I guess, be switching between the most would be the SD-1 podcast and the SD-1 spoken word. They primarily differ in regards to the low and mid end of your vocals, but they can be very easily customized if necessary. So if you don't like the reverb that's been added to it, remove it or turn it down. Or if you'd rather complement different ends of your vocal spectrum, again, you can do that with ease. Now, as amazing as that can be, it is worth noting that you will only have access to these presets when using their Universal Audio Apollo range of channel strips, something they make very clear on the box, but not always on their store listings. So make sure to check if you do want to use any of these presets, you actually have the equipment necessary to make the most of it. And if you'd like to check out these particular presets and how they compare, because it's unfortunately the Apollo series of channel strips is something we don't have here, be sure to check out Bandrew over at Podcast Stage or Mitch over at Sweetwater. They have some great demonstrations of how they sound, so you can get a good idea on what could work for you in particular. So ultimately, I guess you can say, if you expected to simply plug this into your Focusrite 2i2 and choose from their array of presets, you will be sadly disappointed. It doesn't even work with a range of Universal Volt interfaces, which we actually have right here with us. So yeah, that's a great shame. Okay, so quick final thoughts. I think the SD-1 is a fantastic sounding microphone, and I hope you've been able to agree with me here, listening to me talk for a minute or two. I find that it's arguably on par with the Shure SM7B, although, as I said previously, I personally much prefer the darker sound of the SM7B to complement my voice. It's simple and easy to customize to suit your vocal tone, just through the switches at the back, which, again, comparing to the Shure, is a lot easier to do. It's at least I guess £100 cheaper in comparison to others in the same field like the SM7B, the Electro Voice RE20. So this SD-1 microphone could be a more budgetable option for some. And it's also leaps and bounds more impressive than those that are cheaper than this price bracket. For a dynamic microphone, it is incredibly versatile for recording talk shows, live vocals and instruments, should you wish to double up as a radio and a music producer. So even if you only plan to use this as a broadcaster, podcaster right now, you do have something in your back pocket should you wish to venture into music, or should you wish to collaborate with someone in the future. Or if you're doing a live music show, someone's coming in to play a track live, hook this microphone up and it will sound perfect. And kind of coming off the back of that, those presets are a great addition that can offer some added value above its competitors, particularly with those presets for different musical instruments, different vocal tones. But you must own a very specific line of universal audio channel strips in order to access them in the first place, which, for a lack of a better phrase, is a bit of a swizz. But that's what I think of the Universal Audio SD-1 anyway. I think, as I say, it's a great microphone. It could work very well for some that don't want to spend a little bit extra on things like the Shure SM7B. And I must say, I'm a big fan of the white colour. I think it's really cool. I think it's really, really nice, especially complementing what's traditionally a very black equipment-based setup that you may find yourself in. But that's what I think. If you've got it yourself or you have some alternatives you want to share with me, please let me know. Just write in the comments below, subscribe of course so you can see more videos much like this, and hey, if you want to send me an email about launching your own online radio station and how you could get the most out of this with your own online radio station, then I can be reached studio@radio.co. But until next time, take care and happy broadcasting. And just before you go, how would you like to launch your very own online radio station? Surprisingly, it's a lot easier than you may think, and the absolute best way to get started is by chatting to myself or another member of the Radio.co team. Just head to radio.co/book a demo to schedule a video call with us, where we'll discuss your plans, answer your questions, and of course guide you around the software. Or click on the link here to take your first step into launching your very own 24/7 global radio station.